How y'all doing? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Coming my way to North Carolina. Pray to God I see headlights. Oh, 17 hours. Wait, okay, a dogwood flowers. Yeah, I can see my baby tonight. Rock me, mama, like a wind in wheel. Rock me, mama, every way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. And mama, like the wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Mama, rock me. And I'm older up in New England. I was born to be a fiddler in an old time string band. My baby plays the guitar. I pick a banjo now. Mama, like a wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Cheers, y'all. No, God, a trucker out of Philly had a nice long toe, but he's a headed west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee, and gotta get a move on before the sun. I hear my baby calling my name, and I know that she's the only one. Any way you feel, hey, mama, rock me. Mama, echo wind and the rain. Okay.
6 years now,
Time for This
Squarespace
Week
has
in
been
Video
helping me
Games.
turn my dream into reality. And that's what Squarespace does for millions of other people too. Their industry-leading website creation tools help millions of people start new careers, build new businesses, or just get things done. They're offering a special discount to viewers of this channel, so stick around to the end of the video to learn more. Gamers, welcome to the start of the busy season. This month alone delivers us Hell Is Us, Chronos: A New Dawn, a new skate game, Borderlands 4, Dying Light the Beast, Silent Hill F, and I think I'm forgetting something. Oh, that's right, Silksong. September always goes pretty nuts, but I do feel as though this is a little more nuts than usual. Not that I'm complaining. The last 2 months have been a little on the quiet side, so it's nice to look at a full slate of stuff ahead. Trying to figure out what to play first is the hard part, but I think we all kind of low-key know the answer to that question. That's right, happy Silksong Day. By the time this video is live, one of the longest, most anticipated waits in the history of video games will be over. Well, that's not really true. We waited much longer for Duke Nukem Forever and Suicide Squad, but we all know how they turned out. The anticipation for this title has been too much for many to bear, and they found themselves going back to play the original either again or for the first time. The previous concurrent player count for Hollow Knight was around 20,000 players back in 2022, when the game went on sale for around $6, so a bunch of people scooped it up then. The recent release date reveal trailer made that previous peak look like rookie numbers. This past week, the game has been steadily climbing to a peak concurrent player count of over 71,000 people, a peak that is unlikely to be surpassed since people can now just play the sequel. And play it they are. At the time of writing, Hollow Knight Silksong sits at a remarkable peak concurrent player count on Steam of 535,000 people, which is just absolutely nuts for an indie. It was so nuts that, and this is not an exaggeration, basically every storefront where people actually buy games crashed when the title launched, meaning that the PSN, Nintendo eShop, and Steam were all down. The Xbox store was just fine and dandy though. Incredible numbers, but not as incredible as this number, 20, as in $20 US, as in Team Cherry are only charging $20 US for Hollow Knight Silksong. Man, the big publishers are going to put out like a mob hit on Team Cherry, like that time in American Gangster when Denzel Washington started selling really pure drugs for really cheap, and all the other drug lords are like, man, we got to kill this guy. You can't sell shit this good for this cheap and get away with it. The funniest thing I saw was a repurposing of this classic No Man's Sky meme where Sean Murray busts through the door and he's like, it's free update time, and we're on the ground screaming, no, Sean, I have money. Sean Murray himself tweeted out the remix that's like, Silksong for $20, and we're like, no, Team Cherry, I have more money to pay you. This is what we do when faced with genuinely good consumer practices and fair prices. We flip the fuck out and start making jokes about it because it simply does not compute with that currently lived reality. It comes at a time when publishers are trying to pull the average price of new release games up substantially. Nintendo are out there doing it with Mario Kart World, and Microsoft tried to do it with Outer Worlds 2, but I guess the pre-order numbers and sentiment was so overwhelmingly bad they had to affect the industry's first ever pre-release discount. So in that climate, it's pretty amazing that Team Cherry are leaving such a vast sum of money on the table in the name of providing a competitive price, because let's be real, most of us would have paid $40 or more for Silksong and would have been happy to do it. I did see one interesting post from an indie developer who I won't name, but they said something along the lines of, I'm about to release a game that I've been working on for years now, and I was going to charge $20 for it, but now I'm not so sure. Since my game won't be as big or as impressive as Silksong, what should I do? My dude, you should charge that $20. If you've worked on something and that's the price point that you need to turn an honest profit, then go for it. I don't think anyone is going to use Silksong as the new indie game pricing yardstick because it's obviously a unique...
No, they absolutely will. That's just not how the internet works, Ralph. You should know that.
Case where Team Cherry can bank on a huge volume of sales that other indie devs don't have the luxury to bank on. It also speaks to the inherent challenges of trying to definitively, objectively quantify game value. Balatro is like $5, but it'll keep you entertained for hundreds of hours if your brain is wired in just the wrong way. Meanwhile, a new Resident Evil game will set you back at least $70, and they're typically around like 10 hours to get through if you just do one playthrough. I have to confront this question a lot as a reviewer when I consider whether or not to recommend something, because the truth is, games cost either time or money, but usually both, and everyone values their time and money differently. I've always just stepped back and focused on that bigger picture of like, what's this experience worth to me? And I think most people will continue to view games that way, even if Silksong is being sold for a silk song. Hey, speaking of No Man's Sky, they're having a moment too. This is another indie darling famous for serving up more value than we deserve and never asking for anything in return. Well, Sean just dropped another free update, and this one's called Voyages. Its headline feature is the ability to craft customizable Corvette ships, more on that later, as well as multiplayer ship crews, skydiving, a new expedition, and plenty more. Players have come back in droves to experience the update. Just a few days ago, the game hit a peak concurrent player count of 98,000 people on Steam, the highest player count since the game launched back in 2016. It was popping off so large that it was actually the second most played game on Steam Deck last week. The only thing that topped it was, of course, Hollow Knight. And third place was Stardew Valley. Big week for discount indie titles that love handing out free content updates. And can we just pause for a second to talk about this top 10 list, by the way? Hollow Knight, No Man's Sky, Stardew Valley. In fourth place, the absolute GOAT, Baldur's Gate 3. Recently released indie darling Peak, which just sold through 10 million units, so congrats to them, by the way.
That's so much money.
The absolute old-timer Balatro at
Balatro,
number 6,
baby!
Cyberpunk at number 7, Helldivers going in at number 8, and capping things off are two indie top-down roguelikes, Binding of Isaac and Potato. Man, what a sick list. We always lament that playtime is dominated by Call of Duty and Roblox and gacha games, but let me tell ya, the Steam Deck kids are all right. They know what's up. Still, Hollywood ain't gonna make a Binding of Isaac movie anytime soon, though it would be pretty cool if they did. No, if they're gonna drop $200 or $300 million chasing a summer blockbuster, they're gonna go where the dude bros are, and it doesn't get more dude bro than Call of Duty. So it's not a surprise then that yesterday, Paramount announced that it had signed a deal with Activision to bring Call of Duty to the bigger screen. Variety said, quote, under the partnership, Paramount will develop, produce, and distribute a live-action feature film based on the Call of Duty universe. Sources tell Variety that while the pact is specifically focused on making one blockbuster Call of Duty movie, the deal encompasses the potential for Paramount to expand the COD universe across film and TV, end quote. Oh no, a COD cinematic universe. Please don't let this happen. But also, please make sure this happens so I can watch the Red Letter Media half in the bag. In a weird twist, the CEO of Paramount, David Ellison, outed himself as a massive COD bro during the announcement. Dude was positively fangirling when he said, quote, as a lifelong Call of Duty fan, this is truly a dream come true. From the first Allied campaigns in the original Call of Duty through Modern Warfare and Black Ops, I spent countless hours playing this franchise that I absolutely love. Being entrusted by Activision and players worldwide to bring this extraordinary storytelling universe to the big screen is both an honor and a responsibility that we don't take lightly, end quote. It's clear that Paramount know how to smartly position this one too, because when the CEO was announcing it, he invoked a hallowed name, quote, we're approaching this film with the same disciplined, uncompromising commitment to excellence that guided our work on Top Gun Maverick, ensuring it meets the exceptionally high standards this franchise and its fans deserve, end quote. Tom Cruise as Captain Price, question mark? I mean, they cast him as Jack Reacher, so, you know, it wouldn't be the first time that they've totally miscast this dude. Anyway, given that this is an announcement fresh off the presses, don't expect this to be arriving anytime soon. You can probably expect another 4 to 6 more COD games to release before this movie hits theaters, or just Netflix. Oh wait, no wait, Paramount Plus. God, we really do have a lot of streaming services now, don't we? Moving on to some Xbox news now, and look, I know I've been really hard on them lately with, you know, the $80 Outer Worlds price tag thing, and the sacking 9,000 workers thing, and the canceling a bunch of projects thing, and the closing a bunch of studios thing. But I really do have to give them credit where it's due in this next story, because Xbox achieved a genuine first for the video games industry. They found a way to cancel the game twice. This story comes courtesy of Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, who started doing some digging into the recent round of layoffs at Crystal Dynamics, the studio behind Soul Reaver, Marvel's Avengers, the Tomb Raider reboot, and most recently a co-developer on the now cancelled Perfect Dark title. The entire studio wasn't working on that though. They're also rumored to be working on another Tomb Raider game, but there was very likely around 100 or more developers working alongside a studio called The Initiative to deliver Perfect Dark. When Microsoft cancelled Perfect Dark and shuttered The Initiative, we all assumed that those Crystal Dynamics staff would either move over to that rumored Tomb Raider game or be laid off, but it turns out there was a secret third option. See, Crystal Dynamics is actually owned by Embracer Group, and if there's one thing that company knows, it's cancelling projects and laying off staff. In this moment though, they're actually trying to pull together a deal that would save both Perfect Dark and those people working at Crystal Dynamics. Apparently they got the green light from Microsoft to shop the project around, and if they could find a publisher for it, Microsoft would allow them to use the IP. Bloomberg reports that Take-Two Interactive, the publisher behind Grand Theft Auto, was interested in buying the game and funding the rest of its development. Sadly, it all fell into a heap. Quote, but the talks collapsed, at least in part because the companies involved were unable to come to terms over the long-term ownership of the Perfect Dark franchise, said the people who requested anonymity because they were not authorized to speak about sensitive negotiations, end quote. Important to note here that Microsoft owns the IP, and they now have no plans to make a Perfect Dark game anytime soon, and rather than offload the IP so that we could have a game to play and a few hundred people could either keep or get a job, Microsoft decided to hoard the IP so they can, I don't know, add Perfect Dark skins to the next Halo game or some shit. Sadly, this is a very common story where companies refuse to relinquish IP even when they have absolutely no use for it, but it's particularly infuriating in this instance because this game was being made. Stuff exists, people were being employed, and now it's all been nixed, and Perfect Dark will go back into the IP vault probably forever, let's be real. Turning now to other news, and Capcom is reflecting on the challenges of keeping the sales success of Monster Hunter Wilds going after its huge launch. The Capcom boss man thinks it's going to be tough, but luckily he's got a convenient excuse. The PS5 is just too expensive. Monster Hunter Wilds was a phenomenally successful launch for Capcom, one of their biggest ever in fact, and the game shipped 10 million units in its first month alone, which is frankly absurd. Post-launch though, the game has fallen on harder times. The PC port has been racked with crippling bugs and performance issues, driving the user rating to overwhelmingly negative on Steam, as Capcom has constantly promised improvements but delivered none. More broadly, the entry has fallen afoul with the player base owing to its creative decisions, level design, the secret mount, overall difficulty tuning, the disappointing nature of the open world structure. None of it is is what Monster Hunter fans were asking for, and as such the general sentiment toward the game is nowhere near what it was compared to Monster Hunter Worlds or even Rise. So it was interesting when Capcom boss Haruhito Sugimoto was questioned about Wild's long-tail sales strategy during an investor Q&A. Here's what he had to say, quote, "We also found that the barriers to the PS5 are unexpectedly large. The console costs around 80,000 yen. Factoring in the cost of software and monthly subscriptions, it comes to around 100,000 yen at the time of purchase. This is not an easily affordable price, especially for younger generations. This situation is not limited to Japan, but is similar overseas," end quote. On the one hand, yeah, sure, that does kind of make sense, but the reality is the PS5 is selling pretty damn well despite a less compelling lineup of exclusives and tariffs pushing the price up in the United States. Plus, that's just one platform when your game is also shipping on Xbox, but more importantly, PC. Perhaps you wouldn't be so worried about the price of a PS5 console if your PC port ran better and more people were able to buy it there. Personally, I just hope this is the start of a trend where CEOs always blame bad game sales on console prices, because that would just be funny. Like Marathon comes out and it bombs, and then Sony will be like, the PS5 is really expensive though. Oh wait, we set the price for that one, oops. A quick lightning round to finish off. Steam has enabled age verification for all Steam users in the United Kingdom. This is to comply with their Online Safety Act legislation, which just passed and now sees vast swathes of the internet inaccessible to people unwilling or unable to verify their age by some means. Valve has opted to go through a third-party supported process based on having a credit card, since you can only get those if you're 18 years old, and verifying that is the least intrusive means that Valve could come up with for verifying your age. Of course, anyone who chooses not to have a credit card because most of them have predatory interest rates or absurd unnecessary fees, those people are fresh out of luck. A rumor here, so do take it with a grain of salt, but Dust Golem has always proven to be extremely reliable when it comes to Capcom leaks, so I certainly wouldn't discount anything they say. Their latest update pertains to a potential Dino Crisis reboot. Oh yeah, let's go. And the update is, it's not happening. Damn, that was disappointing. Here's what they had to say, quote, "Hope Capcom eventually figures out what they want to do with Dino Crisis. For the record, and I don't believe this is new info, there has been a couple of attempts in the last decade to remake Dino Crisis. The first by Capcom Vancouver before they were shut down. Still have some of the leaked materials for that on my hard drive actually. The second a few years ago, but just wasn't turning out good, so it got scrapped. I hope they one day figure out what they want to do going forward with Dino Crisis, and it's able to pass prototyping stages," end quote. Me too, my dude, me too. Some HR and studio updates now, and the former game director of Sony's mysteriously MIA Fair Games, Daniel Drepow, has just announced his new gig. Quote, "As of this week, I've joined Warner Brothers Games Montreal as creative director. I can't wait to start this wonderful adventure with all the great people here at the studio," end quote. It's believed that Warner Brothers Montreal is working on another superhero live service title, so out of the frying pan and into the fire, as they say. Hey, remember a little while ago when EA shuttered Cliffhanger Games, the studio working on that Black Panther title? Well, in a rare bit of good news, it seems like Wizards of the Coast have hired 15 members from that former team, headed up by creative VP Michael De La Plata. The 15 staff will join Wizards to work on a new project now in the concepting phase. Baldur's Gate 4 maybe? Man, that is not a gig I would want to sign up for. Talk about a hard act to follow. T-0 Entertainment has been shuttered by NetEase. If you've never heard of T-0 Entertainment, then you're probably not alone, since they've never actually released a game. It was a new outfit founded in August 2023 with veterans from BioWare and Bethesda. They were apparently working on a, quote, third-person online multiplayer action game set in a sci-fi universe, end quote. That's a pretty tough sell this day and age. NetEase have said that they're open to the project receiving new funding, but their stake in it will come to an end. And finally, in some more uplifting news, Kojima Productions is just about to celebrate its 10-year anniversary. They've announced a special event called Beyond the Strand. Quote, "Hosted by Hideo Kojima, the celebratory event will include special guest appearances as well as offer a glimpse into future projects," end quote. Unlikely to be anything big here, since his publishers probably don't want him stealing too much of their thunder, so get ready for Death Stranding 2 Director's Cut featuring, I don't know, Pedro Pascal for some reason. He's in everything else, so he'll probably be in this too. So what got announced or delayed this week? Well, I'll tell you what, big week for co-op shooters this week of both the classic and extraction variety. So I hope you're ready for a new wave of those. We'll start off with one of the progenitors of the extraction genre though, and that's the incredibly brutal Escape from Tarkov. Last week, Battlestate shared that this thing would soon be coming out of beta after something like 7 years, and this week they added that it would also be coming to Steam too, though no solid date on that one yet. Valve cut or no, it's no doubt going to be giving the game another solid play-based boost as it hits 1.0, because who really wants another standalone launcher in their lives, right? Not me. Very, very excited to read those Steam reviews though. That's going to be great. As one extraction exits early access, another one enters to take its place. This one's called Macabre, and it's from a good old Aussie studio from Down Under. And the cool thing about this extraction game is that it's been partially funded by our federal government through its screen agency. Maybe they're trying to make up for all those years of censoring games for no good reason. This one puts a time-traveling survival horror twist on things with distinctly Australian characters and settings. If you haven't had the joys of being stuck out in the Australian bush in the middle of the night with the licker from Resident Evil 2 chasing you, get ready for that. This one launches into Steam Early Access on September 29th. One more exciting co-op shooter announcement though is a bit light on details. Mike Booth, who you might remember as the creator of Left 4 Dead, has announced that he's working on a new game that is, quote, a 4-player co-op shooter built on the foundations of what made Left 4 Dead special. If you enjoyed the teamwork, tension, and replayability of my past games, you'll probably find this one interesting, end quote. Booth says it's still early days, but they're inviting people to come and play test it on their website, badrobotgames.com/invite. Good luck getting in. Speaking of games we haven't heard about for quite some time now, Rayman. It was his 30th birthday on September 1st, and Ubisoft held a little fan event to celebrate. They released a video from Rayman's brand producer, Loic Gunon, and I know I'm absolutely butchering the pronunciation to that, so sorry to all my French viewers. Anyway, here's what he said, quote, a very talented team at Ubisoft Montpellier and Ubisoft Milan are currently working together on the future of Rayman. Don't expect news from us too soon, but rest assured, Rayman is in good hands, end quote. And that's all we got, sadly. If the development timeline for this one is anything like Beyond Good and Evil 2 or the Prince of Persia remake, expect to see this one on shelves in roughly the year 2038. A couple of free-to-play games now. Amazon Games lifted the veil on their next title. It's developed by their internal studio in Montreal, and it's a 4v4 MOBA called March of the Giants. Wow, they're really trying to bring the MOBA back, huh? This one does have kind of a cool elevator pitch though. It's a bit more of a mix between RTS and MOBA, the theme being a steampunk World War I setting where you play a giant dude that towers over all your troops as they fight below you. Kind of nice. This is also being led by a guy called Xavier Marquis, who was the creative director for Rainbow Six Siege over at Ubisoft, and that is a game that turned out pretty alright in the long term. There's a closed alpha playtest that will be running by the time you watch this, so go have a peek if any of this sounds interesting. And finally, I hope all you sad gacha tragics are ready for another one. Hoyoverse announced their next title this week, and it's called Honkai Nexus Anima. The gist of it is basically, what if we made a 3D Pokemon that ran well? And what if the combat was team-based? Okay. And the combat was also auto chess. If that Pal World kerfuffle caused the Pokemon Company to patent the shit out of every single mechanic they've ever used, I can imagine it's going to be a little tricky for Hoyoverse to navigate the waters here, but at least there aren't any really blatant creature knockoffs, at least as far as I can tell. I mean, one is literally just half an avocado, and that's cool, right? No release date for this one yet, but you can probably expect it on PC and mobile, as with most gachas. So what came out last week? Well, there was, of course, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eating Remixed Plus Alpha, Konami's latest effort to reclaim all of the goodwill they used to have, and to their credit, it looks as though they're 2 for 2 if you begin counting with Silent Hill 2 and then end counting here. This one's sitting at a mighty 86 on OpenCritic right now, although a lot of critics are saying very similar things. Really great, stunning remake, maybe a bit too safe. Still hard to go past the bones of what is an all-time classic. Here's what Timur Hussein over at GameSpot had to say when he scored it a 9 out of 10. Quote, from a content perspective, Konami has played it incredibly safe, using the same voice work and music and leaving the story completely unaltered, effectively making Delta a 1-to-1 remake. But I can't fault that, especially when I found myself again enraptured by Snake's torturous mission to pull the world out of nuclear danger and fight for survival in a dangerous jungle. The impact of Konami's efforts was such that for 8 hours, I wasn't an adult yearning for the lost feelings that made me love Metal Gear Solid 3, I was a teenager living them for the first time again, end quote. Moving on to Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which officially came out last week too. Like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which was another ninja series that got a retro revival recently, this one seems to absolutely rip. On OpenCritic, it's sitting at a mighty 87, with just about everyone praising the combat, art, and Metroidvania-like structure. Austin really dug this one, so I'm going to go ahead and quote him right here. You can watch his review on the channel, and there's also a written version over on thisweekinvideogames.com. He strongly recommended it, saying, quote, this game is a masterful blend of old and new. The entertaining camp action story is presented with a slick art style. The banging soundtrack features a mixed orchestration of traditional Japanese instrumentation with modern heavy metal and electro, and the design fuses fast-paced retro stage formats with modern Metroidvania. Its origins may be rooted in the arcades of old, but Shinobi Art of Vengeance is as fluid and stylish as the best contemporary action games, end quote. Of course, Austin has to take the bad with the good to keep his perspective in check, so that's why his next review project is Lost Soul Aside, which is an indie action title that Sony backed pretty hard over the years. This one currently sits at a weak 65 on OpenCritic, mainly on account of its poor technical performance on PC at launch. DualShockers, though, thought there was a lot more to worry about here, scoring at 7 out of 10, saying, quote, Lost Soul Aside left a bitter aftertaste of hype, seasoned with unmet expectations. It's one of the few RPGs that made me care less about its characters and story the more I played it, due to its shoddy narrative and half-baked cutscenes. Gameplay is excellent, offering plenty of versatility for everyone and depth. The post-game challenges will undoubtedly please those wanting to test their hack-and-slash proficiency. That is, however, if they have the grit and tolerance to see the game through to the end, end quote. Watch out for Austin's review on the channel, coming real soon. Let's chase that one with a safe, happy, known quantity. Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Starcross World. The original release for this one was great, and it sounds like the Starcross World DLC is more of the same, which is perfectly fine, and the Switch 2 enhancement, believe it or not, actually seems like a meaningful improvement. Kirby is still a pink blob, of course, but this cute version of a post-apocalypse sounds like it's a lot nicer to look at. Mighty85 on OpenCritic. Here's Checkpoint Gaming, who also gave it 8.5, saying, quote, while the lack of new copy abilities and a large number of reskinned familiar enemies might be a bit disappointing, the new content overall is certainly worth the cost of an upgrade pack for existing owners of the base game. For those who missed the original, the new content and performance improvements make it the best version of a fantastic platformer by far, and easily worth recommending to Switch 2 owners looking for a memorable experience, end quote. So what's coming out this week? Well, we've talked about it like 6 times already in this very episode, but Hollow Knight Silksong is now out. You can go and play it right now, I think. Just depends on when this video goes live. And yeah, you know what Hollow Knight Silksong is? We all know what it is. We've been waiting for it for like 4,000 years. It's finally here, so there's no point in talking about it anymore. Just go and play it right now, okay? If you're in the very small camp of people who are not interested in Silksong though, don't worry. There's other stuff coming out this week. Also landing on Thursday is Hell Is Us, a new third-person action Souls-like from Montreal developer Rogue Factor that does a lot of unique stuff despite its flaws. I reviewed this one. Link below the like button to the video review and the write-up on thisweekinvideogames.com. Long story short, it's good. At times, it's very good, actually. The game is pretty front-loaded, with its freeform approach to exploration and puzzles wearing a little thin by the end, and a dire lack of enemy diversity really hurts the combat experience. Still, I did end up recommending it because it's extremely refreshing to play a game like this without the aid of map markers or yellow paint. This one is out on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles. I think it's going to pleasantly surprise a lot of people. Last one for Thursday, September 4th is the DLC for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of Giants, which will be available for all platforms the base game is on, including PS5. I thought this game was a genuine all-timer, and I haven't changed my mind about that. Hopefully this story DLC adds something meaningful to it, since all story DLC add-ons can be a little hit or miss. We'll check back in on the reviews next week. Digging over to Friday, September 5th now, which seems to be a busier day this week, strangely, especially for Japanese gamers. First up, we've got Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion, which is the next game in the fast-paced mecha action series from Marvelous, and this time it has a co-op mode. This one lands on PC, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Switch 2. Next one for Friday is Shoot an Order, which is the next visual novel from Danganronpa writer and designer Kodaka Kazutaka, and man, he already released 2 other games this year. What an absolute machine. Shtick for this one is that it revolves around investigating 5 different suspects related to the murder of a cult leader, and each path has a completely different gameplay and story style. Early reviews for this one have been okay so far, but we'll check back in on the full slate next week. If those aren't to your taste, then maybe Golf is. Okay, Golf sucks, everybody knows that, but Everybody's Golf is a pretty good arcade golf game from way back when, also known as Hot Shots Golf in the US. Like Sega with the Yakuza series, they've now named this latest one Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. Not at all confusing there. This one's also being handled by a new developer for the first time in quite a while, and it's being published by Bandai Namco, so it's not locked to the PlayStation anymore. This one's headed to PC, PS5, and Switch. Rounding out Friday is one we've been looking forward to for a while now. It's the next horror game from Bloober Team, and it's their first real action horror game, Kronos: The New Dawn. Think Resident Evil 4, only it's a sci-fi time travel story set in 1980s Poland, because let's be honest, it's not really a Bloober game unless it's set in Poland. By the way, if you want to learn a little more about this game and read how its co-directors came up through Bloober together as best friends, as well as find out some of their survival horror pet peeves, there's a really great interview that we did with them over on thisweekinvideogames.com, our website. We think you'll enjoy that one, so I'll leave a link to it below the like button. And finally, next week on Tuesday, September 10th, it's the game we've really all been waiting for, none other than Garfield Kart 2 All You Can Drift, which is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and Switch. Seriously though, Mario Kart, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds ain't got shit on Garfield Kart. 8 cult characters. I mean, you've got Garfield, you got some other cat, there's some humans. This is gonna be great. Literally counting the minutes until the donkey upload. Okay, so this next one is kind of a chill, low-key title that we've been looking forward to for a while now, so put this on your radar.
I remember this. I've seen it on Steve.
This is Starbirds, and it's kind of like a focused base building and resource management game that sees you land on procedurally generated asteroids that are kind of the size of little planets in Super Mario Galaxy. You have to build a production line to mine the shit out of them and then move on before things get too overwhelming. And man, can this genre get overwhelming a lot of the time. So this is actually aiming to scratch that early to mid-game strategy itch and keep it rolling, which is honestly really smart. This comes from Tokana Interactive, who previously put out the Zen city building puzzle game called Dorf Romantic. That one was fantastic. I think it hit like overwhelmingly positive in early access and it just never left. High hopes for this one as well then. It launches into early access this week, September 10th, and there's a free demo you can try it right now if you like the look of it. If you do want to check it out, we've left a link to it over on our Steam curator page, which also has links to all of the other put this on your radar stuff we've recently covered. I'll leave a link to all of that below the like button. Sort of free stuff time now, and over on the Epic Games Store, you still have time to check out the Czech adventure game, Machinarium, as well as the multiplayer party racer and track builder Make Way. Replacing those this week are a couple of chill games. The first one is Monument Valley, the lovely puzzle adventure title that put London Indies Us 2 on the map. That'll be the mobile offering too, I imagine. Also joining the list is Battle of Polytopia, which is kind of like a minimalist and casual leaning 4X strategy game. It's got quite a few fans on Steam, so it's probably one to check out if you're kind of in the mood for that power trip of like a Civ game, but not quite in the mood to do so much micromanagement or to, you know, be playing for like, I don't know, 5 weeks straight. For PlayStation Plus subscribers, the 3 free games for September are all pretty good. The headliner is Stardew Valley, aka the only game you'll play for the next year or two if you let it take over your life. And it's followed up by Double Fine's excellent Psychonauts 2, as well as the very neat perspective puzzler Viewfinder, all worth spending some time with. Xbox announced their first wave of Game Pass editions for September, and surprise, surprise, Hollow Knight Silksong is the headliner here, which is a day one release. Joining it is the strategy builder tower defense game from Digital Sun Cataclysmo, as well as the indie Twitch shooter I Am Your Beast. Both of those come recommended by the team here. If that's not your bag, then Roadcraft from Saber might be, but if realistic construction work is too much for you, then Paw Patrol World might be your bag. I think there's a construction dog in that one from memory. And finally, Nintendo announced one new addition to their classic lineup for this month, and it's the Nintendo 64 game Forsaken 64. This was the 360-degree first-person shooter in the vein of games like Descent. Man, these games were all the rage when PC gamers first discovered joysticks. Our feel-good story for the week is one I alluded to a little earlier in the show. As I mentioned, No Man's Sky recently got an update that let you create customizable Corvette spaceships. And if you heard that, you might have been thinking to yourself that that means you can, like, I don't know, choose the color of them or something, or choose where the cup holders go. But it's a little more flexible than that. Take, for example, this monstrosity, which is easily the most terrifying train I've ever seen in my life. And yes, I include Choo Choo Charlie in that list. A more family-friendly build is this one, based on the classic DeLorean. That would be my weapon of choice. The British among you might appreciate this TARDIS-themed ship, time travel capabilities not included, or this creepy-looking penguin from Wallace and Gromit. Someone made a ship that spells the word ship. Very nice. I'm a big fan of this giant PC someone built. Needs more RGB if you ask me. But my favorite has got to be this, which is immediately going to make sense to some of you, but not to others. It's actually a rendition of the classic Lost webcomic from back in the day. I have absolutely no idea what possesses people to recreate this comic in this format whenever they get the chance. I'm pretty sure that when the war against the machines begins, this comic will be the logo of the human resistance that we scratch into street corners to denote safe houses. Anyway, good job, Sean Murray. You crushed it. And good job to you for sticking right through to the end of the video this week. I'm off to play Hollow Knight Silksong now till I can't play no more. And I'm pretty sure that's what most of you are doing right now. Hell, this has probably been second monitor viewing for most of you. But if you happen to have enjoyed it, then we'd love it if you could drop the video a like, hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell, and maybe even leave a comment down below just to say hello. We love that. Don't forget to check out thisweekinvideogames.com since our founders membership is only going to be available for a short while longer. Plus, we've got plenty of interesting, unique, ad-free, AI-free, clickbait-free coverage going up there every single day. All right, that's it. I'm done. Thanks for watching, and a big thanks to this video sponsor, Squarespace. Do you run your own business or do you want to? If so, a website is really helpful and there's no better or easier way to build a website than Squarespace. Let's say, for example, you have a store that sells stuff, I don't know, clothes, shoes, furniture, cell phones, whatever. That store exists in just one spot and you're probably only able to service your local area. But what if you could tap into a much bigger market? What if you had a website that lets customers find you no matter where they are? What if they could see your inventory online and make purchases? And what if you had a website that could facilitate all of that seamlessly? Well, that's exactly what Squarespace does. Squarespace lets you build professional-looking websites in minutes. You just select from their extensive...
Okay, Trippy, where you at, my brother? Boof it. It's like my response to everything now. That's the shit right there. My controller is not wanting to work. Weird. One illuminates the street. Yoink. Yoink. Fuck, I don't remember. You got me now. The bank got money. At a job you fucking hate. The fucking bank. The fucking bank. Oh shit. Oh, lean in.
Something, make it happen. No cluster foxtrots in my unit. Let's run this. I'm looking for someone special to take out.
That may have felt like
Everyone's got a place in
overkill.
the games.
It
But
was.
it'd be a good idea to land here. Hold on tight. It's time to drop, shock, and rock. An opponent landed near me. Taking damage. Ambush! There's another squad! An opponent near me. Cracked an enemy shield. Attention. Shield. Our squad took first blood. Combo. Taking shots here. Enemy shield broken. Downed an enemy. Reloading. Enemy side. Jump drive in position. Ambush! Enemy nearby. Recharging my shields. 1 second. Reload. Keep your eyes peeled. An enemy is near me. Welcome to the shop. I've got just the thing for you. A broken enemy shield. Reloading. Taking shots here. Grenade. Taking you out. Taking through. He's lead. A broken enemy right here. Tango down. Another one. Dropping like flies. Another squad coming in. They're not friendly. Don't put me on the list of casualties yet. Also, he's lead. Reloading. I killed an opponent. Frag out. Just throwing. Using jump drive. They underestimated me. Back in the game. Don't worry. I'm good. Taking shots here. Enemy shield broken. Down. Recharging shields. Good to be back. Let's show them how it's done. Just us now. Gotta watch each other's back. We have a new kill leader. I can't wait to meet them. Down to target. Kill confirmed. Another notch on the bow. Reloading. Spotted. An enemy shield. Back in the games. Don't worry. I'm good. Broke their shields. Spotted. Double timing it. An enhanced weapon. You'll knock them dead. Up in the I'm down. Need a medic. Nice for the one. Nice. Just me now. The lone wolf hunts again. Frag out. Tossing. Got him. Throwing an arc star. I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. Recharging. Let's fire. I'm back. Let's smoke him. Cracked an enemy shield. Wouldn't let down range. Attention. Taking shots here. Minus for the opponent. New kill leader. Call him if you spot him. Enemy killed. Reloading. I cracked an enemy shield. Ah, an enhanced weapon. You'll knock them dead. Enemy down. Reloading. I'll get you amped up. Look out. Enemy dropped. Another squad attack. Reload. Go that way. Kill defeat. Already on my mark. Firing for effect. Jump to position. Replicator there. Stock up. We should head this way. Replicator there. put me on the list. Time to freshen up my shield. I cracked it. I'm down. Cracked enemy shield. Tango down. Kill confirmed. Let's get you back on your feet, guys. Got me. I'm down. My squad mates are out. I'll get you amped up. Recharging my shields. 45 seconds until the ring closes. Give me a second. Thanks for having my back. You're back. Are you good? Setting up shop. Heads up. Dropping the plane. You are coming home with me tonight. Under the chimney. Stop. Right up here. Taking shots here. Taking fire. Reloading. I'm down. They got me. I'm down. Okay. Last one in the combo standing. No pressure to me. Taking shots here. Not today, Kapatid. You've got people depending on you. Down an enemy.
Warning. Ring movement in...
Enemy killed. We're outside of the ring and it's moving. Police, give my shields a recharge. Not today, Kapatid. You've got people depending on you. Double timing it. Jump driving position.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner.
Care package on. Jump driving position. Taking shots here. Recharging shields. One back. Cracking enemy shield. Reloading. Fire. They're shooting us. Double time. Getting shot. I'm down. Don't try. Lost one. Down to target. Tango kill. Enemy there.
Unlocked. Visitor replicator.
Recharging shields.
Oh, she's one shot!
Enemy here.
She's one shot!
Let's get you back on your feet, Kapatid. They got me. Down. I killed an opponent. Recharging my shields. Let's get you back on your feet, Kapatid. Give my
That's
shields
fucked
a
up.
recharge. Enemy there. Give me a target over there. Recharging shields. Oscar Mike, I'm spotted. We've got a minute until the ring closes. If you want it, bag it. Get down. Another squad's attacking. Damn it.
Oh, okay.
I'm down. Cracked an enemy. Down to target. Confirm kill. Up in the chimney. Ringing strong. Half the door. Hold tight. I got your back.
Give me! Give me! Brother!
The chimney.
Smoke and get me! Smoke and get me!
Got your back. Let's relocate here. Heads up. Drop it the rain. Party. They're trying to corner us.
Oh, you gonna make it? I don't know if you're gonna make it, dude. Ooh, rip. Not bad. That was a good game. That was a good game. Damn, Trippy, almost 4K. Holy shit. Good job. Motherfucking. Motherfucking. It crashed. Where is your voice? Where his voice? Wishing well. Hell no, but oh well. Still try, even though I know I'm going.
I can make you shine.
Real men use iron sights? I use heavy artillery. I wasn't always a wolf. I had to make these claws.
Oh, that was incredible! Okay, I'm bored now.
Jumping! Remember to keep your mouth closed.
Let's check out that area.
An opponent landed near me.
Round 1. Beginning ring countdown. Attention.
Bolt SMG here.
Slot.
Common gear.
Attention. First blood.
First blood. SMGs always go first.
Misfire here. Common. What's so useful? Prowler SMG here. Common.
Shop's open for business.
R301 here. Common gear. Accurate and easy to
Mind if
control.
I take it? Ring close in 1 minute.
Throwing jump drive. 5 seconds until the ring closes. We've got... Come on, we should regroup there.
Ring close
just can't resist me, can they? Activating jump drive. Jump drive set.
Opponent, boss.
10 seconds until the ring closes. Grab what you need and let's go. I'm down.
I have a self-res. I don't need you. I have a self-res.
Hold tight. I got your back. Care package incoming. Let's get to the LZ. Already on my mark. Firing for effect. Recharging shields. Using jump drive. I cracked an enemy shield. It's your lucky day. I've got you. Killed a few enemies. They just can't get enough. Give my shield to recharge.
Enemy.
Recharging my shields. Recharging my shields. Let me get her there. Something's still inside.
Opponent there.
Another squad's
Company
attacking.
out there. Even red. Taking shots there.
Firing. Frag out. Reloading.
Hostile spotted.
Quick, over there. Deep rail here.
Focus. Frag out. Reloading. Arcstar out.
Tossing an arc star.
Enemy close.
Target down. Took care of that one.
Give my shields a recharge.
Jump drive in position.
Give my shields a recharge.
I bet we'll find some. Forget it. Gravity launcher here. I wonder what we'll find over there. Jump drive activated.
Someone's not in the ring.
Right, replicator here. Make sure to take a peek. Let's go. There's someone over there.
Spotted an enemy. Spotted. Double timing it. Come on in. Old Painless is waiting. Taking shots. I'm down. Grenade. Look out.
Kill
There's that.
eliminated.
I saw my whole life flash before.
Quick, here.
Ah, I'm hit. Reload. Pop in the chimney. Spotted. Double timing it. Give me a sec.
I cracked an enemy shield.
Oh, back. Hi, an enemy there.
They won't stand a chance against you. Target. They won't stand a chance against you.
Think they can handle it. Taking damage. Giving him the chip. Give my shield a recharge. Cracked an enemy shield. Tango.
Eyes on the enemy.
Yippee, guys! Why are y'all over there? There's no, it's not just me missing.
Tango kill. Target there. I'm not done yet.
Hostile, right here. He's lead. They got me. I'm down. Airstrike. At all. Don't worry. Sergeant First Class.
Let's go there.
Enemy, good. There. Taking fire. Throwing thermite. Throwing thermite. Throwing a thermite. Cracked an enemy shield. They got me. Down. Cracked an enemy shield. Down to target. Let's get you back on your feet, Capatine. Getting shot at. I'm down. Hold tight. I got your back.
Everyone else is down. Being alone is no fun, but... That hurt.
How the fuck did he get his shield back?
Mozambique here.
Loot bins have...
Sabinila, greatness can come from small places. Got the small. Working on greatness. Time to dig up some gold.
Clips are what civvies use in their hair. This is called a magazine.
Better see GG's when that final ring closes. That's my ate voice.
Let's land here.
Jumping! Oh, yes. Drop, track, and rush!
Rethinking our strategy. Safety's off. Enemy landed on me.
Keep your eyes peeled. An enemy landed near me.
Top in the chimney. Spotted. They got me. I'm down.
Attention. First blood.
Don't put me alone. Casualty.
That's an enemy shield.
Top in the chimney.
Damn it, that hurt. I'm down.
Top in the chimney.
Downed an enemy. Reloading. Keep your eyes peeled. An enemy landed near me. They underestimated me. Perfect.
Give my shields a recharge. Enemy killed.
Reloading. Recharging my shields. Rings nearby. 1 minute till close. Energy ammo here. Let's Release. Ring closes in 45 seconds. Hell of a time for shopping.
Rival there. Way in the distance.
Attention.
Let's lay down fires there.
Kill leader.
Ring close in 30. There's an enemy by me.
Reload. Enemy down.
The cost of housing is a very big problem. It is probably one of the biggest problems that we face as a country. And at the root of it, I know that there's nuance here, but at the root of it is a problem of increased demand all over the place, but increased demand specifically in certain areas, and constrained supply. So people want houses, they want to move out, they want their own place. More people are living alone. People are aging in place more. They're staying in their houses longer as they get older. And at the same time, there's a lot of things that constrain the construction of new homes. So you have these places where the house prices go up dramatically, but the number of houses being built doesn't go up dramatically, despite the fact that people could be making twice as much money building a house as they would like 3 years ago. Why aren't they doing that? It's because there's wild constraints on the ability to build it all. We have that problem in a few places. Places where sort of demand continues to go up, but supply is being constrained. But one place that we haven't had that problem is with electricity. For two reasons. One, because new electricity generation has been coming onto the grid in the form of natural gas power plants, but also in the form of wind and solar. They've been adding a lot of capacity to the grid. At the same time, there hasn't been a lot of new demand on the grid because our houses are getting more efficient, our light bulbs are getting more efficient, our appliances are getting more efficient. Because of that, demand has stayed fairly steady. It's increased, but supply has been able to increase along with it. Now, I'm not saying that energy prices are not high and that they are not a burden for a lot of people, but relative to a lot of other things, like we obviously think a lot more about gas prices and healthcare prices and housing prices than we do about electricity prices. And that's good. That's the way we want it. We don't want electricity prices to be another thing that we have to think about. But we have just entered into a world where that is definitely the case. And I can tell you that's the case because of this graph, which is just the stock price of an energy company. In January of 2024, this stock was worth $38 per share. It is now, as of today, worth $208 a share. So why do we think that this stock is going to be so valuable? It hasn't changed that much. It's because everybody expects them to make a ton of profit. Why? Because demand for electricity is going to come up, but supply is being intentionally artificially constrained. And you kind of have to ask, who exactly benefits from this? Because it's not very many people. It just slows down the entire economy when electricity prices go way up. It's obviously bad for people, and it's also obviously bad for whoever gets blamed for it. So what the heck is going on here? Why is this happening? Why is supply being artificially constrained? And what does that tell us about the people who think that they're going to benefit from this? First, though, we have to talk about demand. So we all know that demand for electricity is increasing, the biggest reason being adding a bunch of data centers to turn electricity and intellectual property into large language models and other artificial intelligence systems that will theoretically fix everything, I guess. Whatever. We know that there are a ton of data centers being built, that they're all going to come online, that they're going to use a tremendous amount of electricity to do all the stuff they need to do to turn electricity into value for their shareholders. And it's going to be like one of the first new electricity sectors. I mean, it already is like the first new electricity sector that's been added in a very long time. And it's going to be a massive consumer of electricity. That's everybody's projection. That's what everybody thinks is going to happen. I believe it's going to happen too. I don't know what the value created from it will be, but it's definitely going to be a thing. It's going to be new demand. In addition to that new demand, we're also converting some demand from one energy source to another energy source. So when you install like a heat pump to replace your furnace, what you're doing is you're replacing natural gas with electricity. When you get an electric car, what you're doing is you're replacing gasoline with electricity. So there's also a bunch of stuff that's going to take pressure off of the natural gas markets, lower the prices of those, but increase demand for electricity. In terms of climate impact, that's obviously a net positive in terms of like air pollution in your town. But in terms of electricity demand, that's more demand. And unless supply is going to keep up with it, that's going to increase prices. One thing I'm not going to talk about in this video, but is going to increase electricity prices is cryptocurrency. Yet another thing that requires a lot of data centers and a lot of electricity. And thanks to our sponsor, Ground News, I was just checking out this story about how the Trump-backed Bitcoin company has begun trading on NASDAQ. And that was in its nice scanning this QR code that's been on the screen the whole time, or by using my link, ground.news/Hank. That's ground.news/Hank. So the question then is, will supply be able to keep up with it? And the answer is almost certainly not. That's what all these smart people who are investing in the stock market are showing us they believe, that supply is not going to keep up with demand. So there's going to be more demand for electricity. There's going to be the same amount of supply. The price is going to go very high. And all of these companies that are making electricity are going to become extraordinarily profitable because they're going to be selling a product that has very inelastic demand. Like we are going to use roughly the same amount of electricity. Everybody who's making electricity is going to be able to charge a higher price for it because it will be a more scarce resource, and they will charge the highest price they can get. Now, some of these are regulated utilities, and maybe we'll figure out ways to like force them to cap prices, but it's capitalism, baby. The highest price you can get for a product is the price you sell at. And certainly in terms of the federal administration right now, nobody expects there to be like a big push for like privatizing power or increasing the constraints on what they can charge you. But why won't we be able to meet this demand? We have to first look at like the electricity mix of the United States of America. So here's net generation of electricity for all sectors by source 2001 to 2023. What you see is that coal is decreasing a lot. It's just become a less economic fuel compared to natural gas, which we're really good at getting out of the ground now. It's a cleaner burning fuel. We burn a lot of natural gas. It's the biggest piece of our pie right now. Nuclear has basically not changed over that entire time period. There are going to be some people trying to build nuclear plants, but that's going to be expensive electricity. Everyone expects it to be expensive electricity. It's very expensive to build nuclear plants. It's only worthwhile to build nuclear plants if the price of electricity is expected to go up a lot. And then the thing that is growing the fastest is other renewables, and that's going to be solar and wind. And solar, I think at the moment is smaller in that pie, but it's increasing much faster and is going to be, I think, the lion's share of the renewables electricity that we add in the future, especially because Trump is very anti-wind. He hates wind.
I never understood wind, I know windmills very much.
Gotta love some iced tea on a hot day. So in terms of the ways that you would expect the new demand to be filled, you would expect that to be filled by natural gas and renewable. And the one big beautiful bill did two really terrible things for our ability to meet the increased demand for electricity. Everybody is fully aware that there's going to be a huge inability for supply to increase while there's a huge increase in demand. And it is literally because of this bill. So the number one thing is that it made it much, much, much easier to export natural gas out of the United States. Now, this is a fairly difficult thing to do. For like one, there's like a technological problem that we have now solved, which is that we liquefy the natural gas and we put it on giant boats, which we then ship to places to buy that natural gas. The only reason to do that is because you can get a higher price in another place than you can in the US, and that will increase the price in the US. There will be less natural gas available to the people who need to burn it to make electricity in the United States. It looks like over the next couple of years, natural gas exports from the US are going to double. That means that there's going to be less natural gas, means increased prices if you're using natural gas in your home for heat or for your stove or whatever. But it also means that it's going to be more expensive for power plants to buy it, which is going to increase the price of electricity. It's also, of course, going to increase the amount of drilling for natural gas, getting it out so that we can burn more of it. That's bad from my perspective, very bad. But in terms of price, you might think, well, that's going to lower the price. It would make it so the price wouldn't go up as much, but that's natural gas that otherwise wouldn't be economically viable to drill for. The only reason we would be pulling it out of the ground is because the price has gone up. So it's being pulled out because the price is higher. At the same time as that, there's just no more natural gas turbines to build. So there's fuel, but then there's the equipment. And the people who build the equipment are booked up. They have sold all of the ones they can build for the next 5 years at least. So there aren't any new ones we can build in the near term. Like maybe we could import them from other places, whatever. But in terms of domestic supply, they're full. They would have to build factories they don't currently have. Supply is not going to come online immediately. But along with all the rest of this, again, I will show you this graph showing that a lot of electricity that is being supplied to the grid right now is from renewables. A new bill makes renewables much more expensive to build. There were a bunch of subsidies that were part of the Inflation Reduction Act that were in part there so that there could be an increase in energy supply that are now gone. They've also increased the requirements that you use stuff made in the US. And if you've ever bought a solar panel, you know that they're a lot cheaper if you buy them made in the US. Most of them are made in China, and they're really cheap if they're made in China. They're good solar panels. And if you want to do that, if you want to increase domestic supply, like, okay, but also you should subsidize it, which they're not doing. So they're saying you have to buy solar panels made in the US, but the number of solar panels made in the US is low, and we're not going to subsidize the creation of new solar panels in the US. And we're not going to help those companies build factories to make new solar panels. And so this leads me to the big question of, like, who benefits from electricity prices going up a bunch? And this is going to be a deeply cynical take and probably will not go in the direction you expect, because of course you expect, and I agree, that the people who benefit are the people who run energy companies, and those people give donations to the party that is currently in power. And so they are getting the benefit of electing the people who agree with them on how energy should be produced, which is only through the burning of fuels that you pull out of the ground that eventually will run out. But let's not think about that right now. That's certainly part of it. And how much of this is like the Republican Party is the party of like fossil fuels and how much of it is we are directly returning your investment in our campaigns. Whoever knows. Depends on where you sit on the ideological aisle, I imagine. Depends on how cynical you are. But a more cynical take here that I actually believe in, I think, that Americans are going to blame Democrats for this. I think they're going to look at it and say, the Democrats, they pushed too hard on solar. We should have been building coal-fired power plants. We should have been building natural gas. And the reasons prices are going up so much is because solar and wind are a bad way to make electricity. And I see all these solar panels and I see all these wind turbines all over the place. And now the problem is worse. Now electricity is more expensive. The thing that about the power system that's changing, to my eye, is not that there's a bunch of big ships like taking natural gas away from America. I don't see those. It's not that copper prices are really high globally. I don't know what the price of copper is. It's not that tech companies are building a bunch of data centers for AI. I don't see those data centers. They're not near most people. What people see are solar panels and wind turbines. That is their connection to the power industry. I think Republicans and the Trump administration have no fear. Like there's no drawback to the prices going up because they're invested in the energy stocks. The prices of those stocks will go up. So that's good for them as individuals. They're delivering for the fossil fuel industry. Those people are going to get super rich. They're going to continue to support them and continue to deliver for them with donations. And the American people will see the price increase as caused by us switching over to solar panels and wind turbines. I think that that's the calculation, if any calculation is being done. They're just kind of expecting that, like, the way that people on the left think that the housing crisis is caused by some, like, nefarious action of individual capitalists rather than, like, a market problem, they're going to expect that Republicans will see that the energy crisis will have been caused by renewable energy. Because it's just like, that's the simple, direct line. You know that the prices have gone up. You see a bunch of solar panels and wind turbines. Mix those two things together. They must have caused each other. This is how correlations work in our brains. And this is especially true for people who are like, less likely to feel good vibes around solar panels and wind turbines because they like it less when the world changes because they are conservative. And conservative is fine. I'm obviously not conservative, but the reality will be that the thing that increased the cost was an expected and known significant increase in demand and a bill that seemingly intentionally, by increasing dramatically the exports of natural gas and also decreasing dramatically the building of renewable energy projects, estimates are that, like, because of the big beautiful bill, we're going to build like half as much wind and solar as we otherwise would have. And the wild thing is that everybody in the energy industry or who pays attention to any of this completely understands this rather simple supply and demand imbalance that is being sort of dumped on the American people. They understand this. They understand why it's happening. They understand that it's happening. People are buying stocks with the expectation that it will happen. You see the prices of energy stocks skyrocketing. Everybody knows it's going to happen and everybody knows why, because we have a bunch of circumstances that are increasing the demand for electricity and a bunch of circumstances that are suppressing our ability to make it. But it's just complicated enough that I think that the Trump administration is like, chances are we are going to be seen as the party that's pro-energy because we're the party that's pro-fossil fuel. And all the people who are like, no, we have to change things for the environment, not for prices, but for bugs and polar bears. So those people are going to be seen as the ones who caused the problem because they're not like that pro-energy party. So it's like a win-win to intentionally increase prices for Americans. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining this, but like, is that how it's going to go? Now, it will leave you with the reality that I in fact cannot predict the future. And just because a bunch of people who invest in the stock market are betting on a future, very obviously they think that this future is more likely than other futures, doesn't mean that it will definitely happen. That, like, the big thing that could happen that would prevent this is that AI collapses. And that would do two things. First, it would make all of that demand from data centers go away. Second, it would produce an economic recession, which also would decrease demand on the electricity grid. That's like the big thing that could happen that would make electricity prices not go up. Like, certainly there are elements of this as a bubble. There's a lot of speculation in the stock market around this, a lot of speculation in Nvidia, a lot of speculation in companies building data centers. Like, it's not Apple and Microsoft building these data centers. It's independent funds of rich people trying to get richer building them speculatively, almost like buying up tulip bulbs. And so it is totally possible that all this speculative data center building is a bubble that is going to pop. And in that case, this wouldn't happen. Like, I think that would be also bad because it would be very likely that a recession would follow because of how much of the world's money is currently tied up in the AI bubble. Like right now, in terms of like the value of the entire stock market, something like 20% of that is tied up in companies that are very exposed to artificial intelligence as a boom. And that's just the publicly traded stocks. That doesn't count, XAI and Claude and Anthropic and ChatGPT, which are all private companies that have, again, also huge many billion-dollar market caps. So I don't know. What's OpenAI's market cap? 300 billion? That's a lot. That's a lot. What's Apple's market cap? I guess it's in the trillions. 3 trillion. Okay, so it's a tenth the size of Apple.
Who said you could get up here? Okay? The fuck? I didn't say you could get up here. You just kind of did it. The fuck's wrong with you? Hey, look at me. Look at me. You're adorable. You're so cute. I booped you. What are you gonna do? You stupid bitch. You stupid bitch. What are you gonna do? I booped you. I booped you. I booped you again. I'm booping you. And you ain't doing nothing. You ain't able to stop me. You can't stop the boops. Nope, you can't stop the boops. He's a good boy. He's just a little bit of a handful. What? Why are you so cute? Why are you so cute? You get compliments everywhere I take you. You get compliments everywhere I take you. I was walking back home after taking him on a walk this morning, and my neighbor mentioned that he has really pretty eyes. He does have really pretty eyes. I mean, like, look at those eyes. They're blue. They're like this color of blue. Hey, you gonna be nice? You gonna be nice? You gonna be nice? I don't fucking think so. You gonna be nice? You gonna be nice? You better be nice. Hey, easy! You broke my shirt. Easy. I'll get you down. I'll put you down. You better be easy. He's a big boy. I was a little bit worried that he was gonna get really big. Oh, good boy. You ain't gonna do shit. Pretty sure I didn't take my medicine. I don't think I did. What time is it? I don't fucking know. That's not good. I don't remember. Oh well. I don't take nothing that can hurt me too bad if I take too many. I do not remember. I don't think I did. Oh, I did on the way back home from this walk I took when I first spoke up with Sky. I did find an entire pack of cigarettes. Still had the wrapper on it and everything. Again, that's an entire pack of cigarettes. Still got the security film and everything on it. They're like trash cigarettes, but still. Free. Lay down. Dun. What? 'Oh, this is gonna be a pain in the ass to brush. I can feel it already. This is mine. This is mine. Boop. No. $2.4 more. Let's fucking go. They're both fucking 100%. Yes. Fucking finally. I can use my earbuds. Oh my god. I'm so happy about that. Lay down. Lay down. It's okay. Good boy. Good boy. Lay down. No. I just walked you. I fed you earlier. You do not need anything from me right now. Wait till you got home. Don't accelerator nice and slow. Your eyes closed. on your throat. Lean to keep your eyes on the road. Far as you goes. I take control. Like this thing goes. I want you crying up my window. So nice and slow. What? What? You just want attention? Is that it? You just want attention? You just want attention? I'll give you some fucking attention. I'll give you some attention. Yeah, that's what you wanted. You're a good boy. No. You're not getting up here. No. You're not getting up here. It's far enough. Get down. Go. Go. Come on. Lay down. Devil in disguise. Seem to find the time. cool. 82% now. Holy shit. Bottles of wine. Shit talking up all night. Same things we haven't for a while. A while. Smiling, but we're close to tears. Even after all these years. Just now got the feeling. For the first time. Oh, 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 oh. But I had held high. Off the job, I couldn't lose my mind. Oh, wow. Now, these times are hard. We're gonna think by thinking on cheap bottles of wine. Talking up all night. I don't know why, but it's not wanting me to play Grand Bazaar right now. Fuck around and fall out for a little bit. Do my dailies. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. We bottle of wine, talking up all night. If we haven't for a while, we're close to tears. Even after all these years, we just now got the feeling that we're meeting for the first time. For the first time, these times are. Whoa. Tell me lies. Talk about.
Gabby and bottle have been smuggled to the wagon and done added their spoils to the store. Amazing job! You got quite the haul here. Oh no, a cavalry! Y'all better stop from shooting up the wagon. Oh, hey, oh,
Masterful deceit broke down my loot and kicked in my teeth.
I do. Oh, you know what that means? Look there, a wagon foul. And he's got his eye on the wagon. And that time, yeehaw! You done did it, partner.
According to your rejectful humanity. Nuka-Cola cranberry. Oh, fuck. I kind of want to go take a nap. Fine in the bathroom. Shit. Cyan. I'm gonna finish my dailies, then I'm gonna go take a nap. It's been a long day. In the bag.
Based on current projections, most customers should expect power to be restored by.
Holy shit. That's huge. Making it worse from the past. I'm a whole different person. It's a good and a curse. Okay, let's take a little smoke break. Then we're done. I'll be back later tonight. I just want to go take a nap. Give me some food. Relax. Cheers, y'all. I'll probably be back around 5-ish. Depends on what time I go to bed after I eat. I'll be back in a little bit. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.